Cardio is not effective for weight loss. Science is pretty clear on that.
I don't think people consider when they talk about this is the fact that when you're doing the cardio, you're not eating. When you do cardio and you're dieting, that allows you to eat more food, which allows you to get in more nutrients throughout the day. We have a heart surgeon here who's talking about how cardio isn't really ideal for weight loss, and he gives some good reasons why, and I see it a lot. Various influencers see something like this and then run with it and just say cardio is a waste of your time. It's not going to help you with losing fat or losing weight, whatever. But there are a couple factors that I don't really think they think about when it comes into this and how it does help you with losing weight. So let's hear what he has to say.
I want you to get more activity. One of the mistakes that I see people making is that they focus on doing periods of exercise. They say, I'm going to go to the gym and work out for an hour. I'm going to go run for an hour. And they don't pay attention to getting enough activity throughout the rest of their day.
Yeah, so he's talking about NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Essentially, the movement you do when you're out at the gym. If you go to the gym and then sit around the rest of the day, well, you're not expending a lot of energy the rest of the day. But if you're going to just sit around anyways, then that extra exercise you did at the gym is helpful. But it's a whole lot easier to just do more throughout the day. Go for walks, play a sport, do something active.
The most important part of building metabolic health through exercise is going to be building and maintaining your muscle. Muscle is very unique when it comes to our metabolic health.
Muscle is really metabolically active, and for me, for example, 4 years ago, I was around 160 pounds and ate about 2,000 calories a day to maintain that. And I've slowly, over the last 4.5 years, built up like 25-ish, maybe a little more pounds of muscle. And now I'm eating around 3,000 calories a day. So just by slowly increasing my weight and muscle over time, I have higher daily calorie needs so I can eat more. And something to consider is if I eat maybe like 2,700 calories, don't eat quite the 3,000, I'm gonna feel more hungry, but it's gonna feel the same amount of hunger as if I was on 2,000 before and ate 1,700. So even if you diet, you're still gonna feel the same amount of hunger if you're in the same amount of a calorie deficit. But where I would say it does help is being able to go out and eat something somewhere. If I was to eat 1,000 calorie meal at Chick-fil-A or some other restaurant, well, that's only 1/3 of my daily calories versus 4 years ago, it would have been half of my daily calories. So it gives you more options when you are eating stuff to eat whatever kind of meal you want and still stay within your total daily calorie needs when it comes to maintaining your calories.
When you focus on building and maintaining muscle, it's going to better support your health, your metabolic health, than if we're just trying to do the cardio exercise and burning the extra calories during that time that we are exercising.
If you're just wanting to eat more food and you need more calories to be able to do that, then yeah, you're just gonna have to do more cardio in order to burn more calories versus slowly building up muscle over time. You are gonna be able to eat more calories because you are more metabolically active.
When we look at the science around cardio, chronic cardio exercise, what most people think of as jogging or running at the gym, we see that it doesn't help for weight loss, doesn't help for fat loss.
A lot of times when people think that cardio doesn't work for weight loss, it's because you go to the gym, you get yourself to run for 30 minutes and it says, hey, you burned 700 or 800 calories running for 30 minutes. So then you go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac and a large fry and soda and you down like 1,500 calories. But really that treadmill is wrong. If you ran for half an hour, that's 3 to 4 miles probably for most people. So you burn anywhere from like 350 to 500 calories, not nearly as many as you think, and then you just went way overboard and ate even more than you needed to because you thought you burned so many more calories from that bout of cardio that you did.
Cardio is not effective for weight loss. Science is pretty clear on that. Doesn't mean that cardio doesn't have benefits, and I'm not telling people stop all the cardio that you're doing. I just don't want people to think that only by doing cardio are they going to be able to lose weight and lose fat and have long-term success around that.
If you don't understand what it takes to lose weight, which is being in a calorie deficit, then you're not going to lose weight just from doing cardio because you probably will eat more, or you don't even know how many calories you're eating in a day. And if you're feeling like you need to lose weight, you're probably still gaining weight at that point because you finally gotten to the point where you realize, oh wow, I'm fat now, I need to lose weight. And so you just start doing more cardio but don't really change what you're eating. You start adding some more donuts or rewarding yourself because you did cardio and realize you're not losing weight. You may just be maintaining at this point now, or even still gaining just at a slower rate. So you have to be in a calorie deficit. Figure out how many calories you need on average in a day, and then you cut back from that. And if you do cardio and that helps you to cut more back from that, that's going to put you in a calorie deficit. That's going to make you lose weight. And one of the arguments I've heard at this point is, well, you're not necessarily going to lose fat. You're just going to burn carbs off, because when you do cardio, it's just using all the carbs you have stored up, and then it'll start burning fat later on. Or people will say that's why you need to do cardio fasted, because at that point the carbs are out of your system and you're going to start straight up burning fat, versus if you're burning off carbs and then you go eat afterwards, it just replenishes your carbs. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it comes down to, do you have fewer calories taken in than you put out? Because if it's fewer, it doesn't matter if you burn carbs or fat during that. Your body's still going to burn fat for the extra fuel that it needs from the deficit that you're putting yourself into. Even though you may not necessarily be burning the fat during that amount of cardio, it's still being burned at some point during the day if you're in a calorie deficit.
I think that surprises people because, when I do cardio, I sweat.
Yep.
And I can feel it. It feels like the fat is melting and it's pouring off my skin. So I'm like, I must be losing weight. So it seems like a bit of a head spat. That's not helping me lose weight. Why isn't it helping me lose weight?
Yeah, there are two reasons that it doesn't help you lose weight. Number one is, for most people, after they do a lot of cardio, they get hungry and they eat more. So they kind of counterbalance whatever extra calories they may have burnt off doing cardio.
So we mentioned this before, especially if you don't even know what you need to be eating, how to be in a calorie deficit, you probably will just eat more. When it comes to cardio for me, I typically work out. I do 3 days in a row, legs, push, pull of lifting, and then I'll do cardio on the fourth day, an hour of cardio. I typically go swimming. And the cardio days, I am noticeably hungrier about the midpoint of the day throughout the rest of the day, because I burned off so many more calories. When I do a weightlifting workout, you're talking about like 200 to 300 calories maybe in an hour to like an hour and 15 minutes that I might burn extra over just if I wasn't working out, versus when I'm swimming for an hour, it's probably like close to 800, because I'm going pretty hard for an hour straight without stopping. So my body's like, hey, we burn more calories than normal today. We need more. In my case, I'm pretty much staying at maintenance, so it's not that big a deal because I can just eat more and whatever. But if you're trying to lose weight, you might want to eat more because you're feeling more hungry, and that can make it harder to lose weight. But even so, when you're dieting, once you do it long enough, you're going to start feeling hungry anyway. So you can know, well, I'm going to feel more hungry after I do this cardio. I'm just going to make sure I don't eat too much back. And typically the compensation that your body does, from what I've seen, is about 50% of what you burn. So it's not like you're just going to go crazy eating, especially if you understand what kind of calories are in different items. And then you won't just eat a bunch of donuts because you did a bunch of cardio. You got to use your head still when it comes to losing weight and being aware of what you're eating versus what you're doing.
I think it's our body's sort of homeostatic mechanism. And the other problem with thinking you're going to lose weight just by doing cardio is it's really relying on calories in, calories out model. So again, the underlying assumption there is that if we just burn more calories, that will compensate for the extra calories that we've been eating.
If you do just burn more calories, you will lose weight if you're in a calorie deficit. That's how it works. You can't really break the laws of thermodynamics. Even if you have some kind of metabolic disorder to where your calorie output's really low, if you eat below that, you're still going to lose weight. Otherwise, you have solved world hunger. You just induce this metabolic disorder into everyone across the world, and there will be no more starving kids anywhere. And you'll probably want a prize for that. But something that I don't think people consider when they talk about this is the fact that when you're doing the cardio, you're not eating. And this is a big deal, especially if you're dieting hard, dieting for a long time, like especially if you're dieting for a bodybuilding show, something like that. It gets really intense towards the end because you're getting to levels where your body's sending extra hunger signals because you don't need to be that lean. When you're doing cardio, you're not eating. So for me, I typically don't eat like within an hour of doing cardio just because I don't want my stomach to feel full. It can make you start feeling sick. When I do the cardio, I'm not thinking about food at all because I'm just focusing on what I'm doing because it's difficult. Even if you're not doing difficult cardio, if you go for a walk, an hour-long walk, you're typically not going to be eating while you're walking. You're doing whatever, talking to someone, listening to a podcast, talking on the phone, and your mind is elsewhere. And after I get done with cardio, I'm usually not hungry for another hour to 2 hours afterwards. So if I'm just dieting, cutting calories, and not going to do cardio because I heard this guy says it's not going to help with weight loss, well, now I'm just sitting around for 4 hours and I'm feeling hungry and trying to make myself not eat because I need to lose weight. Well, now instead, I just spent 4 hours where I'm not even hungry or really thinking about food. And aside from not eating food during that time, I also burned a lot of extra calories. So the part with your mind that deals with just being occupied and not feeling hungry because you're pushing yourself and doing something is really helpful. And it's the same thing when I'm working out with weights. I'm not thinking about food the whole time, or even afterwards typically. So when you're dieting, it definitely helps from that aspect, especially when you get into those harder parts of the diet. For a bodybuilding show, like what I'm hosting right now, if you're interested in trying out a bodybuilding show for the first time, rather than spending a bunch of money and going somewhere to do it, I'm doing an all online virtual bodybuilding show that you can sign up for. I'll have linked in the description. I've got a video explaining everything, but we have lots of prizes from fitness gear to up to $5,000 for first place. Way lower cost than actual traditional bodybuilding shows. And if you're wanting to get in the best shape you've ever been in, it gives you a goal to keep yourself motivated as you push toward that.
We see that that doesn't work over and over again. We know that our body actually adjusts the amount of calories that it burns. And if you go and you do that hour at the gym, during that hour, you're going to have burnt more calories. But during the other 23 hours of the day, your body is actually going to burn less calories to make up for that.
I don't think the compensation effect is that much either when it comes to burning fewer calories later. And if you're aware of, hey, if I do intense cardio for an hour, I'm gonna be a little more tired. Well, don't just lounge around all day and do nothing. Still be active, still go out for walks, do things with friends. Find something to do. Don't just sit on the couch and watch TV all day because, oh, I did my cardio, I'm good to go now.
When we build muscle, muscle burns more calories throughout the day.
And more muscle also burns more calories during your cardio as well.
The focus on muscle building is really the most effective way to exercise your way to weight loss.
Yeah, I agree with that. Long term, you want to build muscle because it's going to make you more healthy. It's going to make you be able to burn more calories, whether you're doing cardio or not, just throughout the day in general. And it's going to help you when you get later on in life to be able to do more things on yourself, especially as you start losing muscle. You're not going to lose as much as you think if you keep working at it and maintaining what you have. But a couple other points that they don't really hit on with the rest of this is that when you do cardio and you're dieting, that allows you to eat more food, which allows you to get in more nutrients throughout the day, more micronutrients, more macronutrients. So if I'm, say, at 2,500 calories for maintenance and I'm gonna cut, so I'm only eating 2,000 calories a day so I can burn 1 pound of fat a week. Well, now I only have 2,000 calories to get in all the nutrients and everything I want. But if I go and do an hour of cardio and I burn an extra 500 to 800 calories, well now that's another 500, 800 I can add to that 2,000 because my baseline is 2,500. Well, now that cardio pushes the baseline up to 3,000 to 3,200, and when I'm cutting down from that, now I've got like 2,500 to 2,800 calories. I think I did all the math right. To get in more vitamins and minerals that I need to be healthy, as well as just being able to have more volume of food in general, and not just sitting there feeling like you're wasting away because you're hardly eating anything, and making sure you are not only doing cardio, but doing those muscle building exercises, or muscle maintaining in this case, if you're cutting, trying to lose fat, because if you're not giving your body a stimulus to maintain the muscle that you have, you're gonna lose it too.
Even if I'm burning 500 calories on my jog versus burning 500 calories doing weightlifting, you think that the weightlifting calories burnt are more important for weight loss than the jogging calories?
Yeah, so when we look at the science around building muscle, resistance exercise, as I said, we see two unique benefits to building muscle.
If you burn 500 calories from lifting weights versus 500 calories of doing cardio, you're still burning 500 calories. It's not, oh, these calories were better burnt because I did it lifting muscle. Yeah, it's important to build muscle, but something they never really talk about here. I mean, he did say in the beginning, wouldn't tell people not to do their cardio, but cardio is important for your heart too, your heart health. Your heart is a muscle. You need to work it as well and keep it in shape, because I've gotten to where I slacked off on cardio. I did a bulk and I would get out of breath going up a couple flights of stairs, and I was still pretty much in shape, pretty muscular, but my cardio I just didn't do for like over 6 months, and I could definitely tell it in situations like that. So keeping your heart healthy just makes everyday activity that you do easier. If you want to be more active, go play a sport with friends or go for a walk or whatever. You're not going to feel winded when you're doing those things. So cardio is important for your heart health, just as the weightlifting is important for maintaining your muscle and metabolic health.
Unique thing about muscle, though, to understand is that as we age, the more that we are able to maintain muscle, the better quality of life that we have and the longer we are going to live. And again, this has been shown in repeated studies, many different areas, heart disease included, that building and maintaining muscle as we get older is one of the best strategies for living longer and for living better.
I remember reading something about that a while back, like the average 80-year-old couldn't lift a carton of milk. So if you build up a good muscular base and then you maintain it as long as possible, that's not going to be the case for you. Like one of my goals is when I hit 80 to be like the average 60-year-old. Hopefully I can do things for myself. One thing I did like that he said is you're not just going to lose all your muscle if you maintain this health when you get older. A lot of guys say, oh, my testosterone levels are just going to crash. But being muscular, exercising, a lot of that stuff affects your testosterone levels. If you just get overweight and fat, that's going to affect your testosterone and make it go down. Just like if you exercise and build up a muscular base, that's going to make it go up. And guys use that as an excuse to just go get on drugs, TRT, to try to maintain where they need to be while they stay obese, versus figuring out the problem and trying to fix it, because most people just don't want to put in the work to fix the problem. But cardio is a good way to help with weight loss if you understand how calories work, if you understand how, yes, you may feel a little more hungry from doing it, if you understand I might be more tired and don't need to just lounge around all day. You don't want to just rely on cardio only when you're trying to lose weight. It's something you should do more often to try to keep your heart health up, because that is what's important. But if you have any questions, let me know what you think down in the comments about cardio, about weight loss, building muscle. If you have any questions, I can help you out. Hit that like button if you like this video, and be sure to check out the link I have for my CamFit VIP competition, the bodybuilding show I mentioned earlier. Lots of information about that, lots of cool prizes for people if you want to try that, and I'll see you soon.